What is up, you guys? It is Zach, and welcome to the Nintendo News Show. This is going to be a weekly news show series that I'm doing. Now, obviously, I didn't have one up last week, but that was because of the Thanksgiving holiday, and I wanted to spend time with my family and not have to worry about having one of these up, especially since I left on Thursday, so it wouldn't have been much of a full news show. So I will be covering news from kind of the past 2 weeks. So hopefully this is the kind of content you enjoy. If you do, please make sure to drop a like and comment and subscribe, all the stuff down below, and click that little notification bell so that you are notified of whenever I upload any cool, fun gaming content. And I do want to say I am getting really close to 4,000 subscribers, so I really want to thank you guys for getting me to that point, and hopefully we can reach 4,000 by the end of the year. That is my hope and my goal, to hit 4,000 by the end of the year. We're less than 40 subscribers to go, so I think it is a possible thing, and it will be awesome if we can do it. So without any further ado, let's get into the news for the week. So something that got announced quite a few days ago is that Fall Guys, which was supposed to come on the Nintendo Switch, I believe actually this past spring or summer, has been delayed again until 2022. Now, this game I thought was going to be a really big deal for the Nintendo Switch. I thought it was going to be something that a lot of people would buy. It was going to be something that I don't know, I thought that people would be interested in it, and I thought that it would just do really well, but with all these delays, not that the game isn't relevant anymore, but not as many people play it, and I just don't see a lot of people actually getting this for the Nintendo Switch. I personally see this as a Daemon X Machina situation, a situation where people were really intrigued at first, but then it just kept getting delayed, and people just kind of eventually forgot about it, and I think the same thing's gonna happen here. Fall Guys is going to release on the Nintendo Switch, and people are going to be like, oh yeah, that was a thing. So, yeah, kind of unfortunate that Fall Guys is being delayed again, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe the Nintendo Switch version will resurge the popularity of the game. But we'll have to wait and see. So the next update I have is for 2 games in particular, being Sonic Colors Ultimate and the GTA Trilogy. Now, in the past couple weeks, both of these games have gotten major updates that particularly target bug fixes and actually making those games not as buggy and glitched out as they were before. Now, this is something I really want to say with ports, of remakes and remasters. I'm starting to get tired of all the bugs that are just natural to the Nintendo Switch version, and having the excuse of, oh, of course it's going to happen, the Nintendo Switch is a less powerful console than, say, the Xbox One, the PS4, the Xbox Series X, and the PS5. Like, naturally it's going to be the case. But that's where optimization comes in. Obviously, these games do get fixed after a few months. They have patches that come out that make the games playable and work on the Nintendo hardware. Like, it's possible. But that should be the case from day one, and if not, then delay the Switch version, or just don't announce the Switch version coming out day and date with the other versions. It is awesome, and sometimes even needed for some games to come out the same day on all consoles, so the Nintendo Switch version can actually sell decently well. But if it's going to be a buggy mess at launch, it's just going to ruin the customer's trust of third-party companies to port competent games to the Nintendo Switch. Like looking at a game like World War Z, which I bought day 1, or actually really day 2, and there wasn't any patches that were needed. The game ran well at launch. The game looked good at launch. Like, this stuff was fine at launch. And this is World War Z we're talking about. These games that are having issues are a Sonic game and a PS2 Xbox era GTA game. Like, if the Nintendo Switch can handle a port of a current gen zombie game where there are like so many things happening on screen at once, it can handle remasters of a Wii and PS2 and Xbox games. Like, this should be stuff that should be ironed out day 1 before the game comes out. And the fact that this is something we're having to have a conversation about still is a real issue. And I hope third-party companies really take, and apparently with all of these games, actually with Sonic Colors and GTA, there are issues on the other platforms as well. So it's not just exclusive to Nintendo. So this is something that these companies just really need to do. Finish their products before announcing them. Make sure they'll be done by the date before actually announcing a release date. Personally. So the next 2 topics we're going to talk about are a little bit, not heavy, but just a little more sensitive material. So I'm going to try and go through these as carefully as I can, mostly because I usually like to keep my stance on issues not private, because I do talk out about things, but I just don't try to, like, always talk about it. So bear with me as I go through this. Nintendo has responded to the situation going on over at Activision Blizzard, which I'm not going to talk about the situation, but basically, if you want to know my stance on it, I think Bobby Kotick should be fired. I think there should be changes done within the company. I feel like all this should be obvious to people. I don't think there's anyone in the world who defends Bobby Kotick, but I don't want to go into that. But Nintendo has responded, or at least internally responded. Doug Bowser sent out letters. So basically, I'm not going to read the whole letter because I'm sure most of you know it by now. But Doug Bowser said something along the lines of, "We here at Nintendo promote inclusivity and having an open work environment that should be free from any kind of harassment to its employees, and we are committed to that." And I believe Nintendo is actually even negotiating its relationship with Activision Blizzard at the moment, talking about these issues with them. And honestly, it's a great step. We've seen stuff from Phil Spencer from Xbox and whatever the head guy of PlayStation's name is. We've seen them talk about it, and Nintendo's a little late to the party, but I think Doug Bowser responded really well, and I really hope there is some change within Activision Blizzard, even though, I don't care much about games that Activision Blizzard release. I still think that change within the company is 100% needed, and I really hope and stand by the employees that want change to happen, and I really hope that change does happen. Next up, Nintendo has kind of also said that they want to further the inclusivity and the diversity of their management staff within Nintendo itself. Now, Nintendo said that only 5% of their management staff are women. And they want to make sure that there are more women being hired and that there's more representation within the company. And I believe this is particularly with Nintendo of Japan, but I'm sure Nintendo of America, Nintendo of Europe, this can also be something that they address as well. And that's great. I want to have more inclusivity. I mean, this is, again, kind of obvious. I want more women to be working at Nintendo. I want more people who aren't white men to be working at Nintendo, or I guess Japanese men in that case. But I really want to see more diversity with Nintendo as long as they have the skills and knowledge of the Nintendo IPs and management and all that stuff. I think there should be more women hired. I mean, why wouldn't there be? Why shouldn't there be? That's kind of an obvious point. But yes, so those are some things that have popped up over the past couple weeks, and I thought they were really interesting and important things that I should talk about here. To go back to the gaming news, Mario Kart 7 has reached its 10th anniversary. I was kind of debating if this was important enough to bring in here, but I know that a lot of people grew up with Mario Kart 7. I know Mario Kart 7 is a really popular Mario Kart game. I personally never got too into Mario Kart 7. I mean, I had it and I played it, but there's no Waluigi, which I always thought was weird. It was personally my favorite Mario Kart on the go until 8 Deluxe. I liked Mario Kart DS, the mission mode was cool, but Mario Kart 7 just felt more polished. But I think it's also just the bombshell that since Mario Kart 7 was one of the Nintendo 3DS's earliest games, just going wow, the Nintendo 3DS is 10 years old, and a lot of different games are 10 years old. It's kind of weird to, imagine that. But nevertheless, yes, Mario Kart 7 is 10 years old, and it's a little bit weird. Next up is a really cool piece of information and news that I thought would be really, really interesting to share with you guys. So basically, a YouTuber by the name of Andy Dore has, I hope I pronounced that right, by the way, has some sort of vault of footage from, events of gaming past. And he looked in his vault for Spaceworld 2000 to see if he had the Luigi's Mansion Spaceworld 2000 footage, which, honestly, I've always loved this footage because it's FMV, it looks really, really cool, not representative of the final game at all, but just a really interesting thing to look at and just wonder, what if Luigi's Mansion was this? What if the ghosts looked like this? What if the, Luigi looked like this and all that stuff? So, they had the whole... Well, I don't know if it's the whole, but they had a lot of footage, FMV footage, of Luigi's Mansion from Spaceworld 2000. Some of it unseen for 2 decades, for 20 years, to over 20 years, 21 years. To me, it is insane how, this footage has been recovered 21 years later. And because of the fact that I am a Luigi's Mansion channel, or my channel is very much involved with Luigi's Mansion, I figured I had to include this, and I'll actually include the footage here so that you guys can see it, yeah, so here it is. So it is so cool, this footage, and I mean, I got nothing else to say. Like, when I saw it, I think it was around Thanksgiving-ish time, like I think the day before Thanksgiving when this got released, and it was just kind of, I remember I was on the train when I saw this. I was on the train heading to my family's house, and I was like, wow, this is super cool. It was just so cool to see this unseen footage and just get a little bit more context behind it, because like we've seen snippets of this footage, but now you get the full context, you get to see more, and it's just really cool. Also, I want to give a shout out to Portable Productions, who's actually working on a kind of prototype kind of deal based on the Spaceworld 2000 demo. I don't know how to describe it other than that, so I'll leave the link to her channel down in the description down below. But she does a lot with Luigi expansion modding and doing all that kind of stuff, so I really hope you'll check her channel out. It's really cool stuff, so definitely go check her channel out. The last bit of news I have for today is that Nintendo has announced that Paper Mario 64 is being added to the Nintendo 64 online service app on December 10th, which is this coming Friday. Now, personally, I am actually really excited to give Paper Mario 64 a try, because I've actually never played the original Paper Mario. I started from the 1000-Year Door onward, but I never played the original, so I'm really happy that I'll get to play the original. Maybe I'll do a playthrough on the channel for you guys, if that's something you'd be interested in. Definitely leave a comment down below. But the only thing that bums me out is that it's only one game, which means that this is going to be what they're going to do. They're going to release one N64 game, which to me does point towards the fact that I think they're going to be quality releases, since they're not doing a bunch of them. You know, because before with like the SNES and the NES, they would do like one quality game and then like two subpar games. So that is kind of good that they're, I'm hoping, sticking to quality games. But I hope that they're going to do it more than what they did with the Super Nintendo, which is like once every 3 months. And actually, we haven't seen a Super Nintendo game enter the online service since, I believe, July, I think? So it's been 5 months. So I hope they do games a little more frequently than that. Otherwise, like, it's going to be a really not worthwhile service. And Genesis games didn't even get added or announced. So, like, is this the full library of Genesis games we're going to get? I don't know. I really hope they do give us more frequent games. Like, maybe I'll take once a month. Once a month is fine. Because if you're getting one new game a month, you know, I think that's personally fine. Like, you know, like if you're just given a bunch of games all at once, it can kind of be like almost like an overload. Like you're just being given all these games at once, like okay. But if you're getting one new game a month for each system, I mean, like you get the NES, the SNES, the N64, and the Genesis, so like one game a month for each, I think that's fine, personally. I personally think that is fine. And, yeah, so that's all the news I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed today's Nintendo News Show. If you liked it, like I said, please make sure to subscribe. We are almost at 4,000, and we're just so close to it, and I can taste it. And hopefully, yeah, hopefully you guys will stay tuned for future content and all that good stuff. So until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next video.